going to need them. There you go. Actually, we're the bigger.
All right, if we could have everybody's attention, we will get our meeting underway. We are just past 3 o'clock, so I officially call the February 12th, 2018 meeting of the Human Rights Commission to order. And to start our meeting off, Commissioner Chandrasena will share the mission statement with us.
The mission of the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission is to promote and protect the diversity of our community and to improve the human relations through education and community awareness.
Excellent, thank you. Now we enter the public comments portion of the meeting. Any person who wishes to speak on a topic within the city's jurisdiction during this portion of the agenda must file a speaker card with a staff liaison before that portion of the agenda is called. Although the Commission values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, it generally cannot take any action on items not listed on the posted agenda. Commissioners will not enter into a discussion with the speakers, but during Commission comments may refer the matter to staff for report and recommendation at a future Commission meeting.
Chair, no cards have been presented.
Okay, makes it nice and quick for us, so we will get right into our program. So today is a wonderful opportunity for the human rights community in all of our diversity to come together and to understand the values that drive the work that we do during the year. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for being here to support the honorees. So as we start, I'd like to recognize our distinguished guests that are with us. We have Mayor Moon, Councilmember Holstage, Councilmember Middleton, Councilmember Coors are with us, yes? And I personally would like to recognize our musical guests today, Ted Fox and Joe Musser, who will be on guitar accompanying Ted. So thank you, and it's wonderful to have all of you with us. Commissioners with us today are Vice Chair Denise Chappelle, Commissioner Chandrasena, Commissioner Cerullo, and 3 new commissioners that were appointed this year, Commissioner Randolph, Commissioner Morgan, and Commissioner Gross. We welcome our city staff colleagues, Dale Cook and Annie Rodriguez, and Jay Viarda, the Director of Community and Economic Development. And I'm Ron DeHart, and I serve as the chairman of the commission. So we welcome everybody to this meeting. This is the opportunity for the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission to recognize individuals in our community. It's a special meeting because it marks the Commission's 25th anniversary. And as an introduction, here's a short video about the Commission.
Y'all know this one. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning, I'd sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh, well, I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's the song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Thank you.
Thanks again, Ted. Thanks again, Joe. We appreciate you helping to set the tone for today's presentations. So today is about community. We celebrate the contributions, the achievements within the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission, or with the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission's Community Service Awards. The city, our community, organizations, and every individual play a critical role in ensuring fundamental rights are realized for all residents. Since the Commission was established 25 years ago with a mandate to honor the city's performance in meeting its human rights obligations, our role then and now is to promote respect for the rights and dignity of everyone in Palm Springs and to work with others to help build communities that are fair and inclusive. This is the backbone of our work. Through the years when people face discrimination, harassment, or human rights breaches, the Commission has been there to provide information and to mediate complaints. Many positive changes have taken place, but real challenges do remain. Too many still experience prejudice or their rights are not fully realized or respected. Human rights is not ancient history. It is about today's reality of the suffering and of the unjust actions that take place. We seek constructive, respectful conversations to try and bridge these differences. It's not only the government and private sector. We all have a role to play and to account for compliance with human rights laws and basic principles that prohibit discrimination on the grounds of age, sex, disability, and race. At all times, our vision must remain focused. Whether we are working together, we can make human rights a reality for everyone, everywhere, every day. The Commission has been engaged in the community from the very start. In October of 1993, the Human Rights Commission led discussions on racial tensions in the community. They facilitated communication between Sunline and the disability community. And in that year, they held a public forum on the media and discrimination. Early areas of focus for the Commission included domestic abuse, hate crimes, protection of senior citizens, and access to housing for all. In 1999, the Commission was instrumental in working with the City Council to adopt the Declaration of Policy for the Protection of Human Dignity and Prevention of Hate Crimes. The next year, the Domestic Partnership Ordinance was presented to Council and approved on January 5, 2000. Culminating with the efforts of the Human Rights Commission to address homeless issues in the city, on May 3, 2000, the Council adopted a policy for addressing the issues of poverty and the homeless. The Commission has provided community education, training, and forums where numerous topics have been addressed, including homelessness, mental illness, elder abuse, supporting caregivers, preventing domestic abuse, the DREAM Act, and women's participation in city government. The Commission has responded to important issues such as 9/11 and the tragedy that increased substance abuse among young people through thought-provoking and emotional forums. In 2002, the Commission was the first city commission to establish a position for youth representatives to serve. That tradition continues today. After laws passed in 2000 and 2001, the state mandated school districts to provide safe school environments for all students. The Commission led the effort to provide training at Palm Springs High School so those students could establish the very first gay-straight alliance on campus. The Commission even worked with the students and assisted in submitting the application so the campus GSA would be recognized as part of the national GSA network. The Commission was also actively engaged in the Hate-Free Millennium Ramon Academy mural project, which was dedicated in December of 2002. Ongoing opportunities to educate have included presentations on religious intolerance, women's issues, the Patriot Act, civil liberties, hate crimes, gay veterans, court-appointed special advocates, ageism, cultural proficiency, human trafficking, gender-neutral bathrooms, transgender rights, racism in our community, and persons with disabilities. Reaching others by hosting forums in recent years has included the discussions on immigration, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, the Second Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, Human Rights Month, and assisting senior citizens. In early 2017, the Homelessness Subcommittee report was submitted to the City Council by then Commissioner Holstege. The report reviewed one of the most referenced concerns over the Commission's 25 years, our homeless population. So where does the Commission go from here? Well, this dedicated Commission will continue to focus on strength and move from strength to strength. Our work on the senior rights and dependent adults will be a top priority. We'll continue reaching out and listening to the community and to work on protection of our transgender population, non-discriminatory access to employment, and achieving greater diversity within our public safety workforces. The Community Service Awards have a rich history of inspirational and prestigious winners. The first of these awards were presented in December 6, 2001, in conjunction with the Human Rights Month. Awards were presented to firefighter Roland Cook, who put himself in harm's way to search for rescue victims in the World Trade Center. American Red Cross relief worker Nancy Blee was recognized for aiding New York City families devastated by the 9/11 tragedies. And Assistant City Manager Dallas Flissick was recognized for his contributions in establishing the Human Rights Commission and for 25 years of dedicated community service. In 2018, the Human Rights Commission Community Service Awards are presented to some extraordinary individuals and 2 organizations. They have made outstanding contributions to our community throughout many years. They shine a light on injustice, and they give voice to those who are rarely heard. They work to stop racism, to counter age discrimination. They advocate for older people. They promote fair and respectful treatment for women, and they fight to end discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity, and they work to close the gap on healthcare inequality. If you can say nothing or do nothing, nothing changes. The honorees are not the say-nothing kind of people. They are the heart of our community. And now to announce our honorees, I invite our commissioners to the lectern, starting with Commissioner Sandra Sena.
Good evening, everybody. This year, the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission's main goal is to address the need of our senior population living in our communities. According to the Center for Disease Control, the number of U.S. adults aged 65 or older will be doubled during the next 2 decades to reach 71 million by 2030. Roughly 20% of the total population. This wave of baby boomers population's response and overwhelming impact on our public health and elder care management system needs to be addressed, and new strategies need to be put into place to promote healthy lifestyles. The Palm Springs Human Rights Commission is committed to the safety and support for our seniors and all who advocate in their interests. On behalf of the Commission, I'm honored to present the award to Mr. Chris O'Hanlon, founder of the Senior Advocates of the Desert.
First of all, I want to acknowledge the Human Rights Commission. Thank you for this incredible recognition and all the good work that you do, as well as the City of Palm Springs. We work throughout the Coachella Valley, and there's no other city like the City of Palm Springs in terms of helping its seniors and disadvantaged. And I specifically want to thank Dale Cook, because he does an incredible job. Thank you, Dale. Thank you.
And next we have Commissioner Cirillo, who will introduce the next award.
Good afternoon. Metropolitan Community Church of the Coachella Valley has been serving the spiritual needs of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community since the early 1990s. The church is a member of the Universal Fellowship of Metropolitan Community Churches, which was founded by Reverend Troy Perry in 1968. Each week, MCC Coachella Valley provides a welcoming place for religious services, educational seminars, opportunities for social fellowship, and a spiritual home for those who are often turned away elsewhere. The church works in partnership with other community organizations such as Well in the Desert, and provides a home for Spanish language church groups as well as a Spanish language Al-Anon group as part of their commitment to meet the needs of everyone in the Valley. MCC Coachella Valley has an international social justice focus as well. The church sponsored a national conference in Brazil, which brought together the leadership and laity from MCC churches throughout the country. Most notably, the church recently sponsored and supported a gay man from Jamaica who is seeking asylum in the United States. He now lives in Seattle, where he is a successful manager working for Bank of America and is on the path to citizenship. It is for these reasons and many more that the City of Palm Springs Human Rights Commission is proud to present the 2018 Community Service Award to Metropolitan Community Church of the Coachella Valley.
I should just move this up a little. As this is an organizational award, I'm lucky enough to have a few members of my church here. If I could just ask them to put their hands up and register their presence. My name is Reverend Clinton Crawshaw. I'm the senior pastor of the MCC of the Coachella Valley, and we are hugely proud to have congregants from pretty much all the cities in the Coachella Valley and from the high desert, most notably a bunch of them from Joshua Tree and Yucca Valley. And we're also linked with churches in over 22 countries around the world. And I'm hugely proud and privileged to represent this extraordinary congregation today. Thank you very much indeed.
And now Commissioner Randolph will present the next award.
Put this down a little bit. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. It is my honor and pleasure to acknowledge Lucy DeBar-Delabin and Gail Christian, Palm Springs humanitarians who are being recognized today for advocating for women through music. Gail Christian, a former television news correspondent and accountant, Lucy DeBar-Delabin, and you can correct me if I'm not getting that right later. I practiced. Have a long history in women's music, having worked on the East Coast on a music festival called Sister Fire, which was a major women's festival during the 1980s. I was sharing with them today. I remember the Michigan Women's Music Festival and the West Coast Women's Music Festival. It was a special time. They have now morphed that experience to a more contemporary version of entertainment here in Palm Springs. In 2013, they first produced the Palm Springs Women's Festival to provide women musicians with an audience and exposure for their work. Now, with the Palm Springs Women's Jazz Festival, they raise awareness of the diversity and the talent of world-class female musicians in the original American music forms of jazz and blues, which is a place where women traditionally struggle for recognitions and employment. Congratulations, Lucy and Gail. Please come up.
I'm Gail, that's Lucy, and we don't sing and we don't dance, but we work for equality and gender equity, and if you see something wrong, there's only one thing you can do, fix it.
My name is Lucy DeBartoleben. I am from Birmingham, Alabama, and I have been an activist since I was old enough to travel with my mom to the SCLC meetings in Birmingham, and I have not stopped. And I have to say that coming to Palm Springs has sort of reinvigorated both of us to continue being activists on behalf of those who are underserved. And we hope that in light of the political climate, that we will all do that kind of work. Thank you, and we love Palm Springs.
Yes. And just one final thing, I'd like to thank the City Council, and particularly Jeff Coors, who made it possible for us to have last week an event called A Conversation on Race. And Jeff put his money where my mouth was. Thank you.
And please welcome Commissioner Morgan for the next presentation.
This all the way up. There we go. Hey, I just want to say thank you to everyone out here today for actually showing up today to support all these people. I mean, it's great. Give yourself a hand. Thank you very much. It's very nice to see the support from the entire community. So I'm here for Brad Furr. Anybody know Brad Furr? He's probably asked you if you want to buy an ad, okay? And for full disclosure, no fake news or anything, I haven't bought an ad from him. I'm sorry, I'll talk to you about it afterwards. But, you know, I got a little blurb to read for him, so, I mean, let me just read it first. Owner of Gay Desert Guide, Brad has promoted awareness and supported countless nonprofit organizations, community programs, and fundraisers which enhance the quality of the life of residents of Palm Springs. Sounds nice. From supporting and promoting youth housing, access to health services, and a variety of social service programs, Brad helps to keep human rights issues on the top of mind for Palm Springs residents and the entire Coachella Valley. Brad also serves on the high-profile Harvey Milk Diversity Coalition. But you know, I read that, that's great, but do you want to know something a little bit more personal? I did a little research. I actually talked to one of his roommates, a long-term roommate from Los Angeles, looking for some dirt on him. And you know, whenever you have a roommate for any period of time, they always know all the tea, right? None on Brad. The reason why I wanted to speak today, I'm actually new to Palm Springs. I moved here December 1st, 2016. And I don't know, some of you may have moved to new towns, and it's always a period of time when you're meeting new people and you're networking, business and professional. And I have to say, I have a very distinct experience with Brad. And it's amazing. You know, in the Jewish culture, we'd say someone's a mensch. Did anybody know mensch? A good person, good guy? Well, Brad's not a mensch. He's a super mensch. No, I'm dead serious. So he's a super guy. You know, he's one of those very plainly caring people. You know, we've talked about some of the things that he works for the community, but, you know, I don't feel special. He does not make me feel special because I know how he treats me. He treats everybody. And I've talked to him a lot of times in private and in public, and he treats people the same. And it's not because you buy an ad or not. See, I didn't buy an ad. He still treats me special. But I have to tell you, he's just a good guy. You know, he treats everyone the same. And for me, moving here to town, I have to tell you, it's nice to have somebody that's calling you, texting you, emailing you. He doesn't have to do that. You know, we don't hang out a lot, but he's always thinking about me and meeting new people and meeting new business people. But he doesn't just do that with me. And so it's nice that you have what I call a triple threat. Someone who's a business professional, above and beyond his business ethics, his business acumen, amazing. Congratulations for that. And also his support of the community and everything that he does. But he's just an all-around good guy. So for the three of those things, I was very honored to actually introduce Brad Furr.
Wow, thank you for that great introduction. Mayor Moon, our city council, esteemed city council, who I'm so proud to have representing our great city, to our commissioners, and to all of you today, thank you so much for showing up. You know, what I do with Gay Desert Guide is really to promote what's happening in the greater Coachella Valley, especially Palm Springs, because we're such an LGBT-friendly city. And that's great. And I thank you for being recognized for me helping out other organizations. But I wanted to do something a little bit more. And when I was in Los Angeles, I had a friend of mine who started a hiking group called Take a Hike. He was a gay man who had moved to Los Angeles, didn't want to just be a part of the bar scene, so he formed a hiking group. And every Saturday, as many people as wanted to come out, LGBTQ and allies, we could go hiking together and talk and chat. And from that group came another splinter group called Gay for Good. And Gay for Good is a service organization that began a number of years ago in Los Angeles. While I was not on the founding board, I certainly participated in many of the projects that Gay for Good did. So I really took, when I learned that I was getting this award, I wanted to do something really to give back to our community, and something more than another non-for-profit. We have lots of non-for-profits here doing great work. But how can we activate those of us in the community who would like to do good work for these not-for-profits? So today I'm announcing that we are going to be starting a Gay for Good chapter in Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. Thank you. And I'm going to read just a little bit about it because I want you to know just what this is all about. So about Gay for Good, we hope to, over time, support goodwill and understanding between the LGBT plus and greater city communities through regular collaborative volunteer service projects. To achieve our mission, we identify and connect with environmental and social welfare organizations in each city chapter. We support select organizations primarily through volunteer service, time, rather than financial contributions, coordinate regular social events for Gay for Good members and our allies to develop friendships and network, foster and promote a spirit of positive, enthusiastic camaraderie, both within the LGBT plus community and towards our partner organizations. Do something valuable for our community, our city, and our country, and above all, make a positive difference and have fun. So that's what Gay for Good is all about. And I just wanted to let you know that today, following this event, we're going to have a short meeting and just a who's interested kind of get-together at the Retro Room on Tockwitz, just down the street in Palm Springs. And if anyone would like to stop by and learn more about the organization and even sign up so we can keep you informed about it, we'll do so. So that's what I'm going to do with this award, is springboard that into Gay for Good, and I thank you very much.
And now Commissioner Gross for the next award.
Pardon my nose and my body. I'm one of the, maybe a number of you, I join in getting over hopefully the worst of the flu. I'm down to 100 degrees today, so I don't think I'm terribly contagious. But please, if I'm a little bit physically avoidant of some of you who I know and love, please understand that's what it is. It's not you. Well, I have some prepared comments, but one of the things I'll just tell you right now just strikes me from the time we have spent together in this room. We have heard some fairly rich legacies of decades of service here throughout this millennium and even going back into the 90s. But I'm going to invite you now to kind of reset your, what shall we say, your chronological and your historical view. Because with our next honoree, we're going to be looking across 65 plus years, 65 plus years of service and of basically carrying the torch for human liberty. That is something. I don't know too many places or occasions where we have the opportunity to appreciate that, but we do today. I invite you to consider with me how one makes a brief introduction of someone whose life and service, who on 81 years around the sun includes the following. Our honoree survived the Holocaust as a young girl, witnessing family losses in horrors for which there are no words. Upon immigration to the United States, she struggled with her Auschwitz survivor husband, George, to make a new life in the United States. And actually, that brings us to Palm Springs. In so doing, she wound up becoming a 40-year resident of Palm Springs, and for our little neighborhood, El Rancho Vista Estates, truly, she is one of our founding neighborhood members. She's had a home in her neighborhood for 40 years. For those of you who follow modernism, since we're in Modernism Week, I think it's only fair to offer our honoree congratulations on being one of the very, very original mid-mod hipsters in Palm Springs, back before the term was even considered. She makes it her mission to bring her life story to schools, our cultural institutions, and art museums with the theme, Never Forget. And I'm reminded even this morning, right now in this time and this space, as strange and as awful as it might seem, we have political candidates running for election in various races across this country that basically are inviting us to forget. Well, we won't. And with all of the service and all of the energy and all of the love that Goldie Jacoby, who's our honoree, has provided, we can't forget. Because if we were to forget, we would be forgetting our hearts and we'd be forgetting our souls. She makes it her mission to bring her life stories to schools, our cultural institutions, and art museums. She continues as a visible and vibrant champion for social justice. Golda is still going strong, despite the recent loss of her George. She loves invitations from groups who wish to hear her story firsthand and come into the presence of a person who demonstrates the full capacity we as humans have to rise above even the most horrific events. In Goldie's words, to all people who profess that the Holocaust didn't happen, here is my life story. I will keep telling it until my last breath. Ignorance must be eradicated. We must teach by example. We must teach kindness, morality, and respect to others. We must be inclusive, not separatists. I must contribute to make this a better world. Those are Goldie's words themselves. It's my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce you to today's Human Rights Commission Community Service Award recipient and my neighbor, Goldie Jacoby.
I'll get through it, okay? Human rights. What a simple, logical concept. Justice for all. My heartfelt thanks and gratitude for this unexpected honor. I am truly humbled by this Human Rights Award Being an advocate for human rights is a part of my very fiber. I have difficulty accepting an honor for something that is and comes so naturally to me. I also want to thank my friends, my neighbors, and my daughter who are here to support me and share this meaningful day with me. I am not used to making speeches. Ordinarily, I just share my life story with students and groups in hopes that what happened during the Holocaust will never be repeated again. I believe that every human being has the right to live with dignity, in peace, and to choose who they love. They are entitled to worship or not, as they please, as long as they do not impose their will on others. Yes, me too. We have the right. We have the right to our own bodies. Human rights for everyone. My friends know that my religion is kindness. Everyone deserves a little space in this universe. Yes, I do believe that we are our brother's keepers. Those less capable of those with less opportunities should be helped by the more fortunate. In Judaism, there is a belief that we each have the responsibility for tikkun olam, a Hebrew word to help and to repair the world. In addition, if you save one life, you have saved the world. It saddens me that we still have to talk about human rights, that the rights of all human beings is still controversial and not just a given. But I will continue to share my stories, my care and my compassion, knowing that every individual act of kindness and generosity influences the whole. However, we still have the potential to evolve to a point where all human beings value, cherish, and care for one another and this beautiful earth. Thank you all. Thank you for this award.
And now, please make welcome the Vice Chair of the Commission, Commissioner Chappell.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us as we honor these wonderful community members who have given of their time and their energy with one purpose: to make the lives of others better. To them, I say, thank you. Today I have the honor in awarding Officer Mike Radford with the Palm Springs Community Service Award. Officer Radford has worked tirelessly along with a team of officers and volunteers to bring so many smiles to the faces of countless Valley children with the Toys for Tots program he chose to take on more than 5 years ago. A time when Officer Radford could not predict how his efforts would grow and how thousands of children would be provided with a brighter holiday season. Officer Radford and his team are dedicated to bringing the holiday season to those who may not, without their efforts, receive a single gift. Officer Radford and his team of volunteers work many, many hours, collecting, sorting, and delivering to the Valley's needy children. And, yes, they deliver on Christmas Day. All this is done for one reason: the children. Officer Radford is committed to the children of this valley, so today, we the Palm Springs Human Rights Commission would like to honor Officer Radford with the Community Service Award. Officer Radford, thank you for all you do for the children of this valley, and please thank your team of volunteers for all they do.
Good afternoon. Definitely not anything that I expected, and I very much so appreciate this. We don't do the work that we do typically for recognition, but Chips for Kids is a toy drive that started 28 years ago in Los Angeles. It was just one officer that came up with the idea that he wanted to collect some toys to donate to kids in need in the area that he worked, and now it's spread out throughout the entire state. I've had the pleasure of organizing the toy drive here for 5 years. It started fairly small, and with the help of a lot of different people, it's become very successful. We've gotten probably close to 15,000 toys this last year. It starts about a month and a half before Christmas. So I do a lot of toy drives around the Coachella Valley. Mathis Brothers, every Walgreens in the Valley, some other locations collect toys as well. I usually do about 10 toy drives a year. And then the first couple of years I did it, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, really. But as a public information officer, I get to do a lot of interesting and fun things. And the Chips for Kids toy drive is, if not my favorite, one of my favorite things I get to do, just because it helps so many people. So during that process, we will do the toy drives, and then we'll go out and collect the toys. And we sort them out and donate them to different organizations around the Coachella Valley that work with needy families and needy kids. And then on Christmas Eve and Christmas, myself and several officers will go around the Coachella Valley and pass out. This year, we actually took a moving truck on Christmas Eve and Christmas and had thousands of toys to pass out. So it's been a very successful program because of the generous people of the Coachella Valley. It's really a great area for the program because there's some very wealthy areas and then some areas where we go out and pass out these toys, and these kids may not have shoes on Christmas Day. It's cold. They probably aren't going to get any other toys, and it's with a lot of help with those other organizations. The media outlets out here are great with publicizing it very frequently, so that helps a lot. Now I have a Boy Scout group that comes out and helps me sort out the toys. The senior volunteers at our office also help with the organization of it. The first couple of years, I was trying to pretty much do it by myself, and to save myself, I found a lot of help. I was working probably 60 to 80-hour weeks driving my own truck around, picking up toys at night, and I didn't really know what to do. So, but it's become amazing, and to see the smile on the kids' faces, it's totally worth it. So. Again, never expected any recognition for it, but very happy that you guys thought of me, and thank you so much.
And now receiving the Community Service Award is an outstanding leader in the equal rights movement, a long-standing business owner, and a lifelong activist. She's committed her life to the civil rights and peace and justice movements. And I'm only allowed to say this because they are her words. She's a proud, radical, old lesbian feminist. And she's still protesting and organizing. From New York via Louisiana to Texas and Minnesota, Ruth and her spouse, Sherry Fulton, took the long road to Palm Springs when they arrived in 2003. They would later marry on October 11, 2008. In Texas, she was the co-founder of a shelter for battered women and a rape crisis and suicide hotline. She was involved in the formation of the National Organization for Women and later served for many years as the vice president of the Twin Cities chapter. She has served on the boards of Twin Cities Pride, Interpride, Out to Brunch, the Pride Center, the Golden Rainbow Center, and Palm Springs Pride. Last month, after serving nearly a decade as the first female chair of the Desert Stonewall Democrats, she became Chair Emeritus. She is on the National Steering Committee for Old Lesbians Organizing for Change, and she's active in the Courageous Resistance. Ruth volunteers for Equality California and is a founding member of Desert Women for Equality and L-Fund, which is the lesbian philanthropic group that serves lesbians in financial need. She has served for 5 years on the Harvey Milk Diversity Coalition. Please make welcome community organizer and civil rights advocate, Ruth Deborah.
Thanks, Ron and the Human Rights Commission, and I am so proud to live in a place that has a Human Rights Commission. You do amazing work, and I'm just awed. When Ron told me about this, I was really shocked, and I feel like I'm just a shadow of so many people who have come before me and have been here on this platform. It's amazing, but no, I won't stop protesting, and I won't stop working, and I won't stop resisting, and we have a lot of work to do, all of us. And don't forget, human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights.
As we move into the closing song with Ted Fox and Joe Musser, I want to say many thanks to our council, Mayor Moon, and which is nearly the full city council is here. Mayor Moon, I don't know if you want to make a comment on behalf of the council.
Thank you. And on behalf of the entire council, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today to help us recognize these wonderful leaders in our community who do so much to forward human rights for everyone in our community, regardless of age, gender, sexual orientation. Everyone in Palm Springs is equal. We're very proud to be a part of an incredibly diverse community. And as it says outside, the people are the city, and you are the people, and everyone is so welcomed here in Palm Springs. So thank you, everyone, for being here today. And thank you to the Human Rights Commission for all your work that you do on supporting human rights in the city and putting this together. And one last congratulations to all of our winners. Thank you very much.
And Ted?
Just a little background. I actually wrote this song in 1991. I released it on an album in 1992, and I was thrilled and honored and humbled to be invited to perform this song at the 1993 March on Washington, where I got to sing for 1.2 million people. And I am overwhelmed that I've been invited to be here with y'all today, and it just, that this song still has a life 27 years later. It's just incredible. And all I'm talking about is if you believe in human rights, if you believe in equality, you are one of us. She works in a bank, and she runs their computers. She has held this job for years. She is loved and respected by her peers. She is strong, she is proud. Hear her voice cry out loud as she stands up tall and proclaims to them all that she is one of us. He drives a truck and he loves the open highway. Through the endless miles he keeps time to the country music playing in his mind. He is strong, he is proud. Hear his voice cry out loud as he stands up tall and proclaims to them all that he is one of us. We are doctors, we are soldiers, we are athletes and artists. We encompass every color, every kind. So don't kid yourself into thinking that you are all alone. We are everywhere, and loneliness is only in your mind. Oh. I try to sing about things I believe in, so I hope you like my song. And if you believe, won't you sing along? I am strong, I am proud. Hear my voice cry out loud as I stand up tall and proclaim to them all that I am one of us. And I am proud. Hear my voice cry out loud as I stand up tall and proclaim to them all that I am one of us. One more. And I am proud. Hear my voice cry out loud as I stand up tall and proclaim to them all that I am one of us. Ooh, yeah, I am one of us. And I'm proud to say I am one of us. Thanks, you guys.
We got to play musical mics. Well, that song brings us to the end of our program, and I want to thank Ted and Joe again. We put the call out for a folk singer, and within a couple days, I had dozens of calls coming back saying, "Oh, you got to talk to Ted. You got to talk to Ted." So I sure was glad that Ted was available, and thank you for joining us today. So I conclude by saying what a privilege it has been for me and for all the commissioners to serve the city and the community. Human rights advocacy is not for the faint of heart, but I do urge all of you to speak up. In an age of so-called reimagined truth, it's more important now than ever that we counter the distortion of facts and the abuse of rights, the spin in the media and in politics, by presenting the evidence and standing up for the rule of law. Human rights are not the domain of left or right politics. They're there to protect the most vulnerable in our communities and to equalize the imbalances between the powerful and the powerless. And they're there to advance fairness and equality for all of us. In these days, we need to reach back to those we've left behind to ensure that they have a voice and that they are integrated into our society in every way we can offer. Every person, no matter their background, has dignity and value. Everyone has human rights, and those rights must be protected. Let's understand that the rule of law and the maintenance of human rights are connected, and that about 50% of the world's population lives outside the protection of the rule of law. That's about 4 billion people struggling for basic human rights on a daily basis. We can do better. Fundamental human rights not only evolve through common law, they reflect community standards, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and equality of all before the law. Finally, as we work to ensure fundamental rights are realized for all, let us in Palm Springs respect and rely on the common sense and goodwill of those that live here. Because change happens when we all work together. On behalf of the Commission, I thank all the honorees who are contributing to the advancement of human rights in their own way. And I thank all of you for joining us and supporting the honorees. And special thanks to Dale and Annie, who have kept the Commission going strong. And one last item, all the honorees, if you can join us on stage for a photo. That concludes our session, and I have to have a formal adjournment. So the Commission will adjourn to an adjourned regular meeting Monday, March 12, 2018 at 3 p.m. in the large conference room at City Hall in Palm Springs, California. Thank you all very much.